Hi, and welcome to my very first Get Ready With Me mental health and makeup. My name is Dr. Michelle Caroulis. I am not a cosmetologist, I'm not a makeup artist, I'm not a dermatologist. I am a mental health counselor, and I love makeup just as much as I love sharing education about mental health and demystifying the process with people. Even though I am a licensed mental health counselor and a professor of counseling and sport and exercise psychology, this video is not a substitute for seeking professional medical advice and mental health counseling. I will have resources linked for you with this video, and I'll talk about resources too if you or someone you know is looking for mental health help. I was about to get ready for a mental health talk that I'm giving later on, and so I was inspired to share a similar message with you. So as I was prepping to put my makeup on, I thought that I would pause in the middle of that prep and join you here for a video. I prepped my skin by using Drunk Elephant Bestie No. 9 Gel Cleanser. That gives a really nice froth for first thing in the morning before I start to put makeup on. I also used the Drunk Elephant Protini Polypeptide Cream. I think that's a really nice moisturizer. I use that all by itself, followed by Chanel's Mattifying Primer. I also used a MAC paint pot in Painterly for my eyes, and I also used the Chanel Longwear Color Corrective Concealer, and that was in shade B30. I don't have all of my regular products with me and my brushes, so I'm just going to do the best that I can with what I do have. I did pick up a new foundation. This is Lancome Ultra Wear Foundation in shade 330N. It's pretty packaging so far. Let's see. Ooh, it's a gorgeous glass bottle. Wow, beautiful color. Again, I don't have my foundation brush, so I'm just going to use my hands. I don't get like pouring lots of foundation all over your face, and it's kind of a waste of product. You want your foundation really just to provide a base for you and not necessarily that cakey look. So I also don't get putting foundation on and then your concealer. That's a newish kind of trend, I suppose. And I don't wear foundation every day, so maybe that's why I do my concealer first. And when I'm not wearing foundation, I'll just use MAC Studio Fix in NC30, the compact foundation. I love it. So I'm just gonna put this beautiful formula, just one pump, and kind of spread it around my hands before putting it on my face. It's really nice. Very smooth, easy to blend. It's a perfect color. Shout out to Ulta. I used their online tool to help you pick the right shade based on other colors that you use. And I did give them my Studio Fix number. So great. Ooh, I like this a lot. It might be my new favorite. After I let my foundation sit for a little bit, I like to set it. Sometimes, depending on what kind of environment I'm in or what kind of cameras will be around, I'll use the Studio Fix powder, the NC30, just to set it. And today I don't need that much coverage, so I'm actually going to use the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, and this is in medium. This might be another one of my favorites. I've never used e.l.f. before besides this year, and my niece kind of introduced me to the brand. So you can see it's a very nice, it's a very fine powder. I actually like this, I think, better than some of my luxury powders. I'm just gonna take a little puff, tap it in, and tap it into areas where I want to set my makeup. So I start typically with my concealed areas under my eyes. And I know it looks like a lot, but I'll fix it. Pick up a little bit more, tap it in the top. Kind of pat this in. Again, please remember, I'm not a makeup artist. So if you have suggestions for me as I go along, I would love to hear them. Please put them in the comments, what you recommend. I'd also love brush recommendations because I used to use Arbonne, had a beautiful, beautiful vegan set, and they don't make it anymore. And I've used all different kinds of brushes, and I just really have not found anything that I love. I found some that I like, they're fine. So I like this mattifying and setting property of this powder. Let me put that away so I don't spill it. I don't know if you've ever spilled powder, I certainly have. And then I am just gonna take a big fluffy brush and blend it away. I usually do my eyes too. My eyelids, I forgot. That's okay. Sometimes we forget things. I loved playing around with makeup starting probably around in middle school when I was allowed to wear maybe a little bit of gloss, a little bit of mascara, and just like playing with different colors. And then when I was a young college student, I remember the very first makeup book that influenced me. And we didn't have TikTok. I mean, the internet wasn't super huge back then. We didn't have influencers. Our supermodels of the 90s were our influencers. So I remember the very first book that I loved was Cindy Crawford's Basic Face. She had a book signing in Chicago on Michigan and Pearson at a huge bookstore. Anyway, when it was my turn to meet Cindy, she was so nice and gracious. And again, I was a very young college student, so I wrote her a fan letter and I just said a lot of nice things and I gave it to her. And I thought, she must get millions of letters. She's never gonna read this. And to my surprise, maybe a month later, I received an 8x10 autographed photo of Cindy Crawford in the mail. It was amazing. So I must have put my address on there, but I was thrilled. And for a young person to meet somebody who was inspirational, and she's from Illinois also, by the way, so I think that was part of the tie, but it was just really cool to receive a fan mail letter back. That was fun. Moving on, so I'm using NARS blush in Orgasm X, and I like to put my blush kind of high on my cheekbones and just tap it in. This blush brush is actually from Ulta, and it's kind of a harder brush. It's a little stiff, which I didn't think I would like, but I actually really do like it. And it helps me to create just a little bit of a lift where I want it. So you can see that little bit of a lift. I don't really do contouring. I don't really know how. Maybe I'll learn one day, we'll see. But I think that's a nice even look here. And then I also have another kind of a powder brush, blending brush from Ulta that I really like. And I'll just kind of come in here and blend this in. And it will not be as harsh. When I'm on camera, I'll also put a little bit more makeup on than this so that it shows up a little bit darker for the lens. Let me try that again, just a little bit more here. And just to emphasize my natural cheekbones. Now this little kit, I think there were like 4 or 5 brushes in here from Ulta, and it comes in this cute little case. They all fit in here beautifully, and then I can fit a couple of other items like pencils, eyeliners, that kind of thing in here. So it's great. I actually wound up buying a couple of these because I travel a lot and I love this set for traveling. So I recommend it, I like it. Okay, so fast forward a decade to maybe around 2009, and I wanted to start playing with more than just the neutral colors. So I wanted to learn about vibrancy and how to blend different kind of colors. So I caught the tail end of the 80s, so not so much of the blues and the brights, again, more of that 90s neutral. But at this time, influencers were starting to peak up on YouTube, and the first person who I started viewing on YouTube to learn about makeup is Kandee Johnson. So if you don't know Kandee Johnson and the artistry of her makeup and her transformations, you have to check out her pages. She's got not only these amazing, beautiful transformations and tips, but she has really great techniques for normal people like me and maybe like you if you like to understand just really basic aspects of applying makeup in a way that accentuates your features. So totally check her out. I really enjoyed Kandee's upbeat, bubbly personality, but that she also shared some really raw emotional vulnerability. And she was one of the first online personalities that I remember hearing share struggles. I think it takes a lot of courage for people to publicly share those things. And so I give her a huge shout out for doing that and really role modeling that it's perfectly normal to show different emotions that we experience day to day as people, and maybe as different circumstances show up in our lives. So specifically to Kandee Johnson, I want to thank you for doing that, because I, as a mental health counselor, think that you probably helped a lot of people. So thank you. So for eyeshadow, I have two different kits for today. I have this e.l.f. kit, and this is a cute little palette. This is the bite-size eyeshadow in Cream and Sugar. And then I also have a Morphe palette, and this is Neutral Territory 9T. So really nice colors here, if you can see that. And here. And you can see I like using my little mirror just to pat off the extra. I don't know why, I just do. Now, I used to love a lot of Urban Decay colors and single eyeshadows. I miss single eyeshadows, but they've discontinued some of the colors that I really like, so I am just experimenting with different stuff here. So I'm just gonna take our lightest shade, and I use that for an all-over base on my eyes. It's pretty bright, but it shows up well on camera. Okay, a little bit more here, and I just tap it there to get the excess off. I just don't like the sounds of the taps on tables or brushes when people use, like, I don't know, I just don't like it. So next I'm gonna go in with a copper shade. You can see it here. Just a little bit of that, and sometimes I'll mix it with a flat brown. Tap it off, and just add it to my crease. Really super basic, like back and forth motions, and it's very easy. But again, I really like the contrast of the flat and the shimmer or iridescence. And I think it gives a nice complement. Okay, so with that, I will blend it out a little bit. Again, same motion, really easy to just to blend it. The bangs keep getting in the way, huh? And then I will go back in with the same brush that I used for my overall color and go back to the e.l.f. palette. And they've got this, it's kind of a highlighter, so I'm gonna use a little bit of that and put it on my brow bone. Give a little highlight. This one I'm just gonna blend with my hands. Easy. We are having more and more public conversations about mental health, and I think that helps people realize the amount of individuals who are impacted by mental health concerns every single day. I think it takes a lot of courage for people to share their struggles publicly, and again, I think that really helps a lot of people. So another huge shout out to Kandee Johnson. And also with Cindy Crawford in the 90s, there was just good press everywhere. And I don't recall any negative things said about her. So that was, as a young person, that was something that I looked up to as well. So again, just people who put out education for others, and specifically with those two for makeup. So that really brings us to the purpose of today's video, and that is to help people learn about mental health and the importance of recognizing Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. The Centers for Disease Control, the National Institute for Mental Health, and Mental Health America all share statistics related to mental health. For example, we know that approximately 21 million adults in the US experienced at least one major depressive episode in 2020, and anxiety disorders affect about 19% of the adult population every year. Despite this, only about half the amount of people who have a mental health diagnosis seek treatment. So we know that there are problems related to stigma. Also, about 6% of US adults do suffer from symptoms related to their PTSD diagnosis, so that can really impact their overall well-being day to day. And also, tragically, we've had over 49,000 people die by suicide in 2022 alone. And that's the equivalent to about a death every 11 minutes. Another thing to keep in mind is about 12.8 million adults seriously considered suicide, and 1.6 million people attempted it. And that's all from 2022. But those numbers are staggering, and it's just too much We need to understand that if you or someone you know is struggling, you are not alone and there is help out there. Some concerns that keep people from seeking help include fear of stigma, fear of judgment, finances, not knowing how to find a counselor, not knowing who to talk to, feeling like you should be able to manage your problems on your own, and there are countless other reasons. Everybody goes through ups and downs in life, so it's important to have a counselor to be able to talk to even in times where you're not feeling distressed. But if you are having times where your mental health symptoms are getting in the way of your day-to-day responsibilities, like going to work, going to school, taking care of yourself, taking care of family, basic chores, anything like that, that could be what we call a clinical impairment, and a counselor can help you with that. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, I promise you are not alone. You can receive help right now if you feel like you want to talk to somebody, and it's confidential. You can call 988, which is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's 24 hours a day, and they're there to help. 988 started in 2022, and since then, there have been about 10 million interactions where people have called for help. Another really great line is the crisis text line. They've been open since 2013, and they've had almost 9 million interactions. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, you can chat, and that number is 741-741. You can also look at the crisis text line webpage and type in an issue that you're concerned about, and you can see a word cloud about the common phrases or words that were used by other people who were texting about that same issue. In 2023, with the crisis text line, anxiety and stress were the #1 issues, followed by bullying and self-harm. And bullying and self-harm were on the rise over the last 3 years. There are simple things that we can do every day to positively impact somebody's day. It could be something as simple as a counselor sharing a makeup routine. And speaking of makeup, I am going to continue with mine. This is a Smashbox Brow Tech to Go in brunette, and this has a nice little angle, if you can see that, and I really like that to fill in different parts of my brows. It's hard for me to do on camera, so I'm going to do them and be right back. And there are my brows. I also started my lip liner, and I overlined just a little bit. This is a Kylie Jenner matte lip kit pencil in Harmony. I absolutely love her lip kits, so I'm just going to fill this in. And I like filling in my lip liner because I feel like it helps the color just stick on. Again, these lip kits are absolutely amazing, but for today I'm going to use a Chanel Duo, and this is in Soft Rose. So this is actually one of my absolute favorite lipsticks. These are so long wear, and then the Kylie lip kits, my absolute go-tos. So this is a really nice soft formula. It's almost an exact match too. I put on a very light coat. So you want that to dry a little bit. And now that I see how pink this is, with that liner underneath, I'm actually gonna go in and add a little bit more blush. Let's see here. And I think that'll just take it up a bit and really complement that lip color. And then blend this out. And I think now, looking at all this pink, it's not so latte anymore, is it? Oh boy. So let's see. I don't have a light color to complement that, so I am going to have to find one before I move on, aren't I? So I'll let you know what I find, but my lips are tacky now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put the gloss on. And that's it. So here's my finished look. It's pretty subtle, I think, a little bit of color, a little bit of latte. Maybe it's a raspberry latte, we'll see. So thank you so much for joining me today. And if you need help, please reach out to somebody, or if you notice someone struggling, help them find someone to talk with too. Okay, so here's the final look. So I found this palette. I don't even know where I got it. It's brand new. Essence Coral Me Maybe eyeshadow palette. It's got some nice colors in here. I went with this kind of, I guess that's like a little bit of a pink in it. So that toned down the browns a little bit, and this is it. So I will link everything down below. This is not a sponsored video, but I will have some affiliate links here. So if there's anything else that you want to see, please let me know. You'll notice that I use a lot of different products. I have some luxury products that I really like, and also some products from a much lower price point that I think are phenomenal. Sometimes people are not certain how to set their budgeting, and I know that financial things can be stressful. I do highly recommend the Financial Mindset Fix. That's from superstar counselor Joyce Martyr. She has a whole program, and you can check out some resources on her website, but that can kind of help you understand your own mindset or your own stress around money and how that relates to makeup and how we feel about ourselves. So thank you again for joining me. Please let me know what other topics you'd like to hear.